Hello. Janelle here, and I am here with a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first up, that's UFC Fight Night 34. It happened yesterday. I made 6 picks and I got 3 for 3, 500. I will take that. I will take it all day. So let's go ahead and get into it. I did not see the first 4 fights. For some reason, they decided to put SummerSlam on Saturday. Plus, I wasn't home. It was a big old mess. So I didn't see the first 4 fights, but I will do a little recap on the co-main event and main event. So first up, I did not get this pick. I chose Trevin Jones to beat Said Yokab Kahramanov. And he did not. Said Yokab submitted him in the 3rd round. And I haven't actually been able to find the event. Normally I could find it by now and have watched it, but I haven't been able to find it. So let me know how he won, what submission was it, how it went down, and who do you think Said Yokab should fight next? Next up, I did not get this pick. I chose Brandon Royval to beat Alexandre Pantoja. He did not. Alexandre, I was going back and forth on that one anyway, so I'm not surprised. Alexandre beat him in the 2nd round with a submission. So let me know what that submission was and who do you think he should fight next. Next up, I got this pick. I picked Vince Pichel to beat Austin Hubbard. He did. It was a 3-round unanimous decision. Let me know how that decision went. Was it a clear victory? Was it a back and forth brawl? Was it exciting? Was it dominant? Was it not? Let me know how that went. I know he called out Gregor Gillespie apparently afterwards, so I guess he was feeling himself. Let me know how that fight went down and who do you think Vince should fight next. Next up, I chose Chase Sherman to beat Parker Porter. He did not. It was a 3-round unanimous decision. Let me know how the big boys went down. Was it a nice, exciting fight? Was it boring? Were they hesitant? Did they like blow their energy within like the 2nd round and they were all super tired and it was whoever had the most energy left in the 3rd? Let me know how it went down with the big boys because I did not see that one as well. Now, on to the 2 fights that I did see. First, co-main event, and I chose Mark O'Madsen to beat Clay Guida. He won a split decision, and I completely agree with that. This was a close fight. It did go back and forth. Clay probably got the 2nd round. This didn't go to the ground. I figured that Clay probably felt the wrestling difference. Mark is a silver medalist in wrestling, and he was a lot bigger than him, which I was surprised by. Clay looked small. I don't know if he looked small, if that Mark is just bigger than I realized. He's also 11-0. Looks like we probably have yet another potential contender in that lightweight division. That's just so hard to make your way up into. He was controlled the pace the most. He was moving forward the most. I didn't even think he got a takedown that was a quick takedown. He also was landing them clearer shots as well. Lots of knees up against the cage with the dirty boxing. He was clearly a little bit physically stronger than Clay. He had up against that cage a lot. Like I said, a lot of good knees to the body. So yeah, he won. I do believe he won, but I also thought it was close. So I completely agree with the split decision. And who would you like to see him fight next? Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's 11-0. He called out, I think he just wants a ranked opponent. And in the lightweight division, you know, that top 15 is like just full of sharks. So go ahead and throw him up in there. Let's see what he can do. Now, main event, I got this pick. I chose Jared Cannonier to beat Kelvin Gastelum, and he did. He unanimous decision. The fight got more competitive as it went on, I have to say. And it was never really dull, actually. The first round was quite close, but the first round was close, going back and forth on that one, but the 2nd round to me was clearly Kelvin. We didn't really see any ground fighting here either. They both have wrestling bases, and I thought that Jared would be quite a bit faster than Kelvin. He was not, just a little bit faster. And there were moments where he kind of shelled up and Kelvin got his offense up on the feet too. Although it was Jared that sat him down with a punch. It was a nice hook to the chin, sat him down. He was able to pop back up. He also landed some kicks to the face as well that didn't knock him out because Kelvin Gastelum got that chin, you know, very hard to knock out. But then Kelvin got his 2nd win. He took that 5th round. 5th round was very competitive. So yeah, again, the fight got better as it went on. And this was a nice little entertaining fight. So good win for Jared Cannonier. And who would you like to see him fight next? I do believe we're going to see Izzy versus Bobby Knuckles too. And if Bobby Knuckles were to win that, we're probably going to get a trilogy. If Izzy were to win that, then I'd like to go ahead and see Jared in there against Izzy because he hasn't fought him yet. But let me know what you think, or who you think that Jared Cannonier should fight next. Give me all of your updates as far as UFC Fight Night 34, any injury updates, and how you did on all of your picks. Now, moving, I did not start the timing to see what time I started. Oh Lord, this is going to be a super long video because I did not. All right. Next up, I just wanted to touch on the boxing match that we had last night as well. I was able to find that and watch that. And it was also a nice little entertaining fight as well. So we saw the WBA welterweight champion, Yordenis Ugas taking on none other than the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao. And apparently he took the fight with 11 days notice, so he was a last minute. I feel like every time, and I end up getting lipstick all over my face because my lips are out of control. Anyway, so he was last minute replacement, but apparently he was already fighting on the same card. So he was already, you know, in fight shape and ready to go. And he won this fight, unanimous decision. I completely agree. The first round was quite close, but I think Pacquiao just jumped on it first. And he looked like he was doing more. He looked like he was doing more throughout this entire fight. Yordenis took that second round. Then 3, 4, and 5 is when I think Pacquiao really turned it on. Yordenis came back in that fourth, so it wasn't dominant in that fourth, but the third is when Pacquiao actually did really clearly outland him, and not just punches landing against the guard and landing and sliding off, but actually connecting well. There were some belt issues. Yordenis had a couple of warnings for low blows, hitting right there on that big belt line, and some of them were a little suspect, especially on the replay. And I was kind of nervous, like Yordenis, you can get a point taken away because you're fighting Pac-Man. It's like, come on, you need to tighten it up. He started to turn this fight around probably around the 6th or the 6th, 7th, 8th round, 7th. It was before the 8th round, where he started to turn this around, and the back and forth between the commentators, Sean Porter and one of the other boxers at the other desk, but of course they can hear each other, and then you had the other Joe and somebody else, the other commentators. They disagreed, and they were kind of like little Pac-Man cheerleaders. And so at one point, Sean Porter was like, Ugas is winning the fight, and the other person was like, you think Ugas is winning the fight? And Sean was like, yes, Ugas is winning the fight. And what was happening was Pacquiao was throwing a bunch of flurries and spurge flurries, and he was moving forward a bit more, but even I could tell real time that those punches weren't landing. I mean, they were really hitting the guard and sliding off. And in between those flurries of not really hitting much, Yordenis would come up with some jabs. He was jabbing them all night long, by the way. Come up with some jabs, double jabs, little two-piece uppercut that was clearly landing, knocking his head back and forth and stuff. The canvas was also kind of slippery. They were a little slipping and sliding. There wasn't any knockdowns, but they were slipping and sliding a little bit. But Yordenis was really fighting behind that jab, and he was far more accurate. He was actually out landing him by like 1 or 2 shots with half the punches thrown. So even I could see that Yordenis was doing better, but and one of the other boxers brought up the judges, and the other commentators got in there to defend the judges. They're like, well, these are great judges. They named all of them. These are world-class judges. And it's like, the judges favor Pacquiao, so them flurries, which is what the boxer said, them flurries could influence the judges. So Yordenis needs to get more active, even though he's winning. So it was the back and forth, a nice natural disagreement. It was entertaining, it was funny, and the boxers were right. Yordenis was winning. So unanimous decision. I believe it was 2 judges, 116, 112, and one had it 115, 113. A nice entertaining fight, and looky there, taking a fight last minute and getting a win over Manny Pacquiao. This is going to be great for him. So who would you like to see Yordenis Ugas fight next? He is the WBA welterweight champion. I believe Errol Spence Jr. has the other belts, 3 of the belts, 4 of the belts. Someone let me know. Boxing, you've let room for all this. Are you gonna lick me? You've let room for all of this other shenanigans to happen in your sport. So come on, you got to start making these fights that we want to see and start putting these champions together, unifying. You got to start doing something. So good win for Yordenis, and who would you like to see him fight next? Now, last but not least, yesterday, also so much yesterday, and today apparently is TakeOver. I'm not going to do a video about that, but I am going to watch it once I'm done with this. Last night was the 2021, I didn't want to say it like that, but it just came out that way anyway, WWE Summerslam. And as you know, I am a wrestling nerd. I don't watch as regularly as I used to. SmackDown is the show that I watch the most regularly. Used to be NXT, but moving an event from Wednesday to Tuesday threw it all off. It's like NXT doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, SmackDown's the only one that I really watch on a regular basis. But I do watch pretty much all the pay-per-views, but especially the big ones. And SummerSlam is definitely one of the big ones. So instead of recapping the entire event from now on with wrestling events, I'm just going to do best match, worst match, best surprise, biggest letdown. That's what I'm going to do from now on. That's it. So Here, starting with the bad, the worst match and biggest letdown are one and the same for me, and that is unfortunately the return of Miss Becky Lynch, the man, against Miss Bianca Belair. Love her to death. I love both these ladies. Both these ladies are completely over. Both of these ladies are fan favorites. Becky Lynch has been out for a while because she had a baby. We've been waiting for her to come back because her man been back. So we've been waiting for her to come back. This has been highly anticipated. I don't keep up with the blogs either, and like I said, I don't watch Raw at all. So I don't know if you guys knew she was coming back, but I did not. So I definitely was surprised by this. Bianca Belair has been holding it down. She's probably the most entertaining female wrestler on both shows, in my opinion, right now, honestly. Although they got a lot of girls that I like on Raw, it's just the way they're using them I kind of disagree with. So both fan favorites. Bianca was supposed to be fighting Sasha Banks. Big old build up for this over the last few weeks. Looking forward to this after their incredible match during WrestleMania. Someone tell me if Sasha Banks did test positive for COVID-19 or for the Rona. Someone let me know if she tested positive for the Rona. That's what I heard that she did. So someone let me know if that's why she did not make the match. So instead we got Carmella. But before that could get started, Becky Lynch came in and beat up Carmella. And then Becky Lynch was like, hey, I'll fight you. Bianca was like, sure, let's go ahead and do it in short notice. Becky Lynch went to go shake her hand. Instead gave her an elbow, did a suplex, and boom, took the belt. New Women's SmackDown champion, Becky Lynch. And why they would dampen her return by disrespecting Bianca in this way makes absolutely no sense. Again, like I said, they're both fan favorites. We've been waiting for Becky Lynch, but not at the expense of Bianca Belair. First off, it's not a match. It was 2 moves. I'm not joking. 2 moves, done. So that's why it's the worst match, because it wasn't a match. I can't even Eva. The Eva match was more of a match than this, okay? So that's why it's the worst match. And then biggest letdown, we're anticipating Becky Lynch. Happy to see her, but not at the expense of Bianca Belair, not to disrespect her like this. And okay, sure, you can go on and still do a storyline. You're trying to say that she's a rookie and this is kind of a rookie mistake for her to trust her. Sure, okay, but you can do that in a 3-minute match where they kind of go hard at it for 3 minutes and then Becky gets her with one of those old wily veteran tricks where she rolls her up and boom, gets the belt. You could have done the same thing without disrespecting Bianca the way you have. And I hear people saying, well, Bianca must have been okay with it. Bianca doesn't have no power. She's not on that level. Do you really think Bianca Belair has the power to actually direct her career, or she's just taking orders? She's not John Cena, okay? She doesn't have that power. So, and she's not gonna, she's a company man. She's not gonna sit there and go against it right now. She's new. She's new. So yeah, that sucked. Love Becky Lynch, but why'd you have to have her come back like that? And then I hear that she may not be ready to come back, and maybe that's why the match was so short. So if that's the case, then really, why did you do that? Just have her fight Carmella, throw Vega in the mix, throw another chick out there. I don't care, but anything is better than what you did. Horrible. Worst match, biggest letdown. And when I went and looked at on the blogs and the comments to see if I was the only one feeling this way, no, I am not. Okay, next up, we're going to go for the best match. And for me, the best match was the Women's Raw Championship Triple Threat. It was Nikki Cross who had the belt at the beginning, Rhea Ripley, and then Charlotte Flair who got the belt by the end. And I know people are disappointed by that because they're like, Charlotte always wins. And she might be a wrestler who actually has some say-so. But I do like the fact that she is wearing that, and that's part of her being a heel. She's like, oh, you guys think I win too much? That's because I'm the best. Beat me then. And I like the way she's doing it. I like Charlotte Flair. I like her as a character. And of course, I like her inside the ring. This match was well balanced. They all looked great. It wasn't dominated by any one person. And I didn't know who's going to win this fight. I don't watch Raw. So I kind of, triple threat sometimes is a way to make the weaker person keep their belt sometimes. So in a way, I was like, well, maybe they'll let Nikki keep this belt this way. I don't think she's weaker as a person or as a wrestler, but you know, in the WWE world, how they treat her, you know what I'm saying? So Rhea Ripley, she had her strength, she had her technicality. You had Charlotte, of course, who had her skills and her ruthlessness. You had Nikki, who had her speed, her aerial attacks. It was blended well. Everybody had their spots. There was really no misses. It wasn't clunky. The transitions were well. I was excited. I wanted more. I wanted more. So that's why it was the best match for me. Yes, shout out to the Edge versus Seth Rollins. Great match. However, I love the way Edge came out. I was super excited for that. However, I kind of felt like Edge was going to win. So that was predictable for me. And for me, the match was a little bit too long. I was ready for it to be over. I went up and I made a drink during it. So that's why for me, the ladies triple threat, because I wanted more, and because I don't keep up with Raw, I didn't know who's going to win. So, and then last but not least, we have the best surprise. And this one, I know y'all are going to agree with me on this one. I'm a little ashamed. I'm not even going to lie. But the best surprise for me was the Universal title match between Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. I'm sorry. And the reason why it was the best surprise is because I was really entertained by the match. I liked it, and I did not. Not only did I expect not to like the match, I expected to really dislike the match. I don't like part-time wrestlers. I've never been a fan of Goldberg. Wasn't even really a fan of him in this match, but I was just pleasantly surprised. The match, normally his matches are like spot, stop, spot, stop. And this one flowed well because of Bobby, of course. You had the intervention by, you really gonna play and growl and stuff, Sam Jackson? Please. I'm almost done. Please. You had MVP, of course, getting involved, but the match actually flowed better than I thought. It ran way smoother than I thought. It was far more entertaining. The moves made sense. They actually, everything, they was destroying the barricades and everything. It was fun. And then again, I don't keep up with Ross, so I don't know if his son, is that his real son? If that's been a part of it for a while, I'm sure it has. But because I didn't know that, this little skinny guy comes out the crowd, jumps on his back, gets thrown. Here comes the MVP. You know, he didn't know that was his son. And I was like, oh snap, Goldberg's son. And then Goldberg's son kind of ruined it with his expressionless face. If you can't have any expressions, just, you're in pain, just hold your hand in your arm or cry on your dad's chest or something like that. Don't show us your expressionless face. So I was entertained. So that was the best surprise. I was surprised that I was thoroughly entertained by Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, and Bobby kept the belt, of course. So yeah, and I know this is gonna make it go further, which sucks, but I don't watch Raw, so that's on y'all. Now, that's it. If you're still here, please subscribe, like, please go ahead and share the video. Please comment down below. We have talked about a lot here. Please give me the updates on UFC Fight Night Vegas 34, and of course, how you did and all of that. Please let me know how you did on the boxing. I didn't watch the rest of the card, but let me know how the rest of the card went. And of course, let me know what you thought of that main event, WBA champion Yordenis Ugas versus the Pac-Man Manny Pacquiao. And of course, let me know what you thought of WWE Summerslam 2021, and give me your best match, worst match, biggest letdown, and best surprise, which I know you're gonna have a better surprise than mine. So yes, you gotta follow me on all platforms to get all of my information, including last minute picks, which I should have done this week, but I did not do. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that. It's in the description. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care. Goodbye.